increases. Join us now to talk about this, and also reports that President Biden wants to hike capital gains taxes on the wealthy. West Virginia Senator Shelley Capito, she's leading the GOP infrastructure effort. I guess first thing, Senator, welcome, but I guess first thing I'd ask.
Thanks.
You're at five and change, 568. The administration, President Biden, at 2.3 trillion. Mm-hmm. Even if it was the Biden that we saw at the inauguration, let's say it was that Biden. Remember that Biden? Very unifying, lots of bipartisan. If it was that Biden, what would you really have to do to compromise? Would you have to go to 1.5 realistically? And with the Biden we actually have, you'd have to go to 2.3.
Well, here's what I think the distinction is here. First of all, the president himself has had Republicans down to the White House and also asked, well, what is your plan? And so what we did was we defined infrastructure, as you mentioned, and we took from the president's plan and other ideas physical core infrastructure. And so I think if you take an apples-to-apples comparison of the president's plan and our plan, we're really not he's not up into the $2 trillion when you're looking at physical core infrastructure. He's probably just shy of $1 trillion. And so I think that's where our starting point is, where we sit down, define the infrastructure, and then see if we miss something, where we need to, compromise, and how we can move forward. I think that there's a real hunger in the country and also in the Congress for us to be able to work something out that we've been able to work out over decades, and that is infrastructure and surface transportation.
Do you ever?
So I think, yeah, sorry.
No, Senator, I was just wondering, do you ever feel like you're just going through the motions? That sounds great, really. It really does sound great. But
it does.
How much of your of the job right now is just going through the motions? They're going to do reconciliation. They're going to do what they want to do. How much of it is just, I don't know, just going through the motions?
Well, here's how I look at that. I say, yes, they can go ahead and ram the $2.2 trillion or something close to that, do it by reconciliation and shut the door on Republicans. Why haven't they already started to do that if that's what they want to do? There have been signals from other senators and from the president himself that he really does want to negotiate. So I'm going to go with that. But, I did mention earlier that I'm not interested in being window dressing and just make it look like we're trying to work. But if we as Republicans don't come out for the principles and the concepts that we believe in, then we don't have a leg to stand on here when the door gets shut on us. So, lessons learned, maybe. You got
the other issue is that the bird bath is going to probably mean that there's certain things that aren't going to be able to be in reconciliation. Maybe that could be something. But I've asked Republicans, what are they willing to give in return for something? And they don't want to give anything. You okay with 25%? We'll get to the latest news on taxes in a second, but would you go to 25% on corporations instead of where it is at 21 or in compromise from 28?
No, I think the plan that we put forward doesn't require any taxes raised. We do rely on user fees, and we do repurpose COVID dollars, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars that are not even going to be spent till the off years, give some states and locals flexibility with their COVID dollars, too. No, I'm not interested in raising the corporate tax because I think, as we saw pre-pandemic, all of the resultant raise in wages in my state of West Virginia, more people working, more variety and diversity in the workforce, all of those good things. So I'm not interested in going back to that. I voted for that tax cut bill, and I stand by the results. But I think we can get there on infrastructure without having to go. If that's what they want to do, they can do that through reconciliation and try to find their 50 votes.
Right. Yeah, and we know you're from West Virginia. We always. I'm sorry about that. It's like that other guy. It's like, he gets so much. He's so important. I mean, you got to get in.
As it should be. As it should be.
As it should be. Senator, what about the I don't know whether it's going to happen, but the rumors that we heard, capital gains going to 43% on people that make more than $1 million a year. That's a non-starter for you and most Republicans as well, I guess.
Honestly, when I tuned into the show really early this morning and I heard this because I hadn't heard it last night, I thought it was Groundhog Day. I'm like, is there not a tax that's not going to be raised just in enormous amounts to fulfill the Green New Deal and other promises that were made during the campaign. I mean, I don't see why the thirst for raising taxes is so incredibly large when we see what that impacts that's going to have on our economy, on our job creation, and all of that. Why don't we move forward and try to live within our means and provide sustainability in terms of our workforce and predictability in terms of the tax structure? So I can't support that. And I seriously think, I seriously, when I woke up this morning, I went, what? Another huge raise in taxes? We haven't even, finished with the first one he put forward.
Senator,
Yes.
Question for you, but relates to all of this, which is to say, we talk about it, and we've been talking about it for the past couple of weeks, actually, that there's an enormous amount of money that is likely owed to the government that effectively is being evaded. There are some studies that suggest in the order of $600 billion annually. There's the money that is owed to the government that effectively taxpayers are genuinely evading. And they're evading it because we aren't necessarily funding the IRS properly, and they don't have the systems to properly collect it. My question to you is, at least in my view, we could actually have a very different conversation about whether we need to raise taxes or not if we actually just collected the money that we need to in the beginning. Would you be prepared to do that?
Well, a couple things. I think nothing burns the average taxpayer more to think somebody's not paying their fair share. And we know that's happening. I was actually the appropriator for the IRS on the chair of that subcommittee in appropriations, and their computer systems, you are absolutely right, are so outdated. It's astonishing, really, when you start to learn about it. So I think we need to modernize the systems. I think we need to come up with a better way to make sure people are people and whoever else, companies, are paying their fair share. So it's something I'm willing to look at, yes, but I don't want to get into a situation where we're overfunding the IRS to the point where certain segments of our population are being pursued to pay their taxes and certain other parts of our population are not, whether for political, religious, or whatever reasons. So I think we have to be careful there. But I do think you're pointing to a disparity that we have within the government, and that is to get everybody to pay their fair share and to collect those uncollected taxes. And it is astonishing the amounts that you see.
If you had to do something, Senator, we got to go. If you had to do something, would you just raise the marginal rate on wealthy people, make it more progressive? Would that be less? Do you think that would harm things less than a capital gains move or a corporate tax?
I think at this point, my position is I'd rather not raise taxes on anybody. I'd rather try to keep growing the economy, move out of the pandemic. Sure. I mean, our communities are flush with money. And we need to make sure that they're spending this money in an efficient and useful way. That's my main concern right now. And let's see if we can pull this infrastructure package together. I know you said it's, pie in the sky? I'm still going with it. I'm an optimist.
Going through the motions. I just want to congratulate you. I mean, it's a pretty incredible concept to put infrastructure back into an infrastructure bill. So I do want to compliment you on that, Senator. So
Thank you.
I don't know. How'd you come up with that?
Wish us luck.
Yeah.
Wish us luck. Yeah.
Senator